Hey, welcome to episode number 149 of Decentralized Revolution, Mises Caucus podcast. I'm Aaron Harris. Nate Thurston is my guest host. Nate, how are you?
Doing great, Aaron. Thanks for having me back tonight.
Yeah, you're my fail-safe. We're each other's fail-safe because there have been a couple of times when like last-minute things, and then I thought my internet had crapped out again just like 10 minutes ago, and I had to restart everything, and so I'm here. So, and so tonight, somebody we've had on like a long time ago, once or twice, and in the whole, liberty thing, you meet a lot of people online, and if you're lucky, you get to meet some of them in person. And when you meet somebody in person who not only matches who they kind of are online, but is even better than that, Dave Casey always just had a great spirit about you. I love being around you, and it's been way too long. And so when the stuff with Charlie Kirk and the different things going on lately kind of got into that, hey, I'm thinking about Mises's motto, which is don't give in to evil, but proceed ever more boldly against it. And one of the guys in our circle who I think has a lot to say on that is Dave Casey. So Dave, welcome.
Wow, man. That might be the best intro I think I've ever had, and the feeling is mutual.
Yeah,
and it's so good to be back and on Caulk Talk, as I refer to this this beautiful show, and after the beautiful caucus. But no, man, I'm delighted to be here with you and talk with you, and you instantly set me at ease, bro. So it was a no-brainer to get together with you and talk about horrible shit that's going on.
Yeah. But that's one of those, it's a thing that comes up on this show, has the last few weeks, even before the Charlie Kirk thing, is just like, hey, some days, like, I wish I didn't have to be doing this. I wish I didn't have to be involved in a PAC and in a political party and a caucus and a podcast to talk about all this horrible stuff. Just taxes is bad enough, but then war and central banking, and now we political murder. And like really in 2016, like I was really thinking that like some of that stuff was going to happen then because of like how people were reacting to Trump's first campaign and stuff. And then I was kind of surprised, but happy that it didn't. And then, but, compared to 2015, 2016, the rhetoric and all that now is just so far beyond. And some of the people and the elements in society have kind of like just, it just gets, it's ratcheted up. And as libertarians, like we have the answers. It's peace, it's freedom, but it's hard to get people to listen to that. And so even though I hate having to talk about this stuff and keep up with it, that's why I'm doing it. So I don't know how you feel about that, Dave.
Man, again, yeah, it's hard out there for an activist, isn't it, man? And I know that you've been at this. I think you've been like a capital L libertarian since the late 90s or early 2000s.
Well, I got involved in the LPO like in the late 90s, at maybe even mid 90s when I was in college for just a little bit. And then I was kind of in and out of it. And then in 2010, I kind of got back in and got involved and was like state central committee chairman for a few years and in Ohio and different things. And then I kind of dropped out again. And then Mike Heiss pulled me back in, and
he's got a way about him.
Yeah.
But you've been concerned with these issues for a long time. And so have I. Not quite as long, but you certainly have, man. And I don't know about you, but I would like jump at the opportunity to go back to like 2003 Bush level, like escalation of stuff. Like that sounds like paradise from where we're at. And I'll just say, dude, I had a rough time. This was the first year since the advent of social media that I didn't post 100 9/11 memes. Like, look at this motherfucker. Never forget, motherfucker. We're good. For a long time, I was at Ground Zero on the 5th anniversary with all the Loose Change guys and, Luke and Burmis. And like, this has just been, we'll just call it the global technocratic satanic elite, whatever, who's been doing the same thing, marching us towards the same shit for the entire fucking time. On 9/11, right after Charlie Kirk, dude, you know, my job now, my full-time job is very political. So I was just seeing a lot of it, the Kirk stuff.
Yep.
And then 9/11, and I didn't even feel the need to troll and school people on that. I was just so fucking sad, dude.
Yep.
That after all of this time, like, it's not even like, oh, you know, most people aren't like latching on to the ideas. It's like, no, the race to the bottom is escalating, and they are like the collapse of the empire is in full force. It's a long, drawn out process as these mother effers just gut what we have, all the wealth generated since the beginning of the thing, just gut it while they take pieces and sell it off to Palantir, and CIA can have their ultimate AI powered police state. We're all in the panopticon. Bro, Alex Jones was right, even though I think he's maybe sold out since he was been so right. But yeah, dude, that's kind of where I'm at right now. It's hard to focus on like how can we, the nerve of somebody being like, oh, you know, like, we think taxes should be like this low instead of this. Like, it's like, oh my God, there's so much bigger shit going on right now. And it is very overwhelming. And yeah.
Do you guys think this is a time where like some people are going to come together? Like what you just said, it feels weird to argue over like the libertarian fringe stuff that, you know, we know not a lot of people agree with us. I'm like, there's bigger problems here. You know, there's people getting gunned down for speaking about issues. You know, I wonder if we're going to be able to make something good come out of it, or if it's just going to keep going downhill.
We definitely have to try that. We have to absolutely be that. But Nate, I'll be honest with you, man. When I was seeing, like, I don't know how old you are, dude, but back 38. In the day, 38. Okay, so we're pretty close, 44. But back in the day, you remember then, wishing people dead, or after they've been murdered, people are like, yeah, like that is a new thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying that's everybody on the left. You know, I live in a liberal neighborhood, man. They fly all the flags and stuff. I'm pretty sure they don't all want to put you up against the wall. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we have to be like steadfast in not buying all the shit that they're, you know, look, Aaron will tell you, no one's gone harder against the transgender agenda than me for the past, you know, quite a few years. But you're not going to get me to go, yeah, shouldn't we make all of those people not have Second Amendment rights? No, you're not going to get me to fucking do that.
Yep.
No. So, yeah, we're up against it, man. The enemy is smart and steadfast and never takes a day off. And
yeah, it's and not to like, you know, claim any sort of virtue beyond anybody else, but like I remember like at the height of like the Joe Biden being obviously unfit to be running, and like every time I would see a clip of him or whatever, my heart would just be like, like look at what his family is doing to this guy. And obviously like he's been in the game for a long time. He is a hardcore gangster from way back. So, I mean, I'm not like the choices he's made in life. Like I'm not like saying, oh, he's a great guy and the people around him are horrible, but just like, to me, that just showed like what power and the lust for power will do to a man and his family, and like all of this stuff happening. And I could not, like, even when he would like make a fool of himself, I wasn't like, oh man, isn't that hilarious? I'd be like, oh, this is embarrassing for this guy. And like, you know, and like if he would have died or something on the campaign trail or whatever, I can't imagine being like, oh, I'm happy that happened. And I certainly can't imagine like even my worst political or cultural enemy, like if they were shot and like literally 1 billion people saw it on, you know, on Twitter, like within the next hour, like I can't imagine being, oh, that person deserved it. Even if maybe in the cosmic justice sense of things, maybe they would. Like I can't, you know, the fact that we're there, and then, you know, and it's just kind of a separate issue, like the Jimmy Kimmel thing and the people getting fired from their jobs or whatever for making Charlie Kirk jokes, it's like immediately they have skipped the fact that someone got shot for voicing opinions, and people not realizing that that is kind of a different thing. I mean, maybe, I guess it's kind of what happened to, MLK and people like that. But of course, we know the FBI was probably involved in those things. So it does feel different to me. And the fact that so many people like just yada yada that, and we're on to the same sort of, I like Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel and all this stuff, was pretty bizarre to me. And which shows just kind of where we are. And you said something about coming together, Nate, and I'm sorry, I'm talking way too much, but my point is, it's like people, will people come together? And I think what this has shown is that certain people you can't come together with unless there's a major spiritual, cultural change on their part. And I'm not like saying, okay, it's fair game on those people. It's around, not anything like that. I'm still like, hey, I'm a libertarian. I'm for not initiating force. But I think I think this just shows that some people we really can't debate or reason with. So what we have to do is build something apart from them. And fortunately, I hope that a lot of people have been woken up by what's going on, specifically Charlie Kirk, that those people, it happens to be mostly people on the right, but that's the people that I hope we can come together with and then pursue solutions that are mostly libertarian in terms of federalism, localism, ending the wars, ending central banking. I think we can get together with a lot of people on that, but the other elements of the right is kind of what I'm worried about, because we're kind of in competition with them, because a lot of people have been woken up and upset and troubled by this. And I want them to come our way and to not go to the neocon way or to the sort of the dark alt-right way. So
yeah, I want to say when I said coming together, I do mean the right. I have no illusions of coming together with the left at all. Unfortunately, I'm sure there's fine people on both sides, but I'm sure there's some good people over there. But no, I really just meant the right. I think this sort of solidified for me, and it's not like this one kid or whatever speaks for an entire group of people. I'm still an individualist and all that, and it's still unclear whether or not he was a member of any organizations or groups or anything like that. But it really gave me the feeling that my enemy is more on the left than on the right. Now, I disagree with the right on a ton of stuff, but I do see them as a little bit more of a threat still to my liberty.
Yeah, I do too, man. But the way that the pendulum swings is kind of nutty, and the pivot, it didn't take more than 5 or 6 months for, you've seen it. John Bolton will tweet, release the Epstein files. What the fuck is going on when that's happening? You know what I mean? Or it seems like Trump is, in a lot of ways, not all the ways, but deliberately just doing exactly what he wants, knowing full well this will cost the Republicans everything. If there's such a thing as a free and fair election or whatever, there's no way you're dropping roses for Gavin Newsom to come in, and then even the good things that he's put into place are probably all by executive action, and they'll all go right back.
What specifically? What besides the Epstein stuff? What do you think is?
Well, I mean, it looks like any kind of he does a lot of double speak, man. Oh, I ended 7. I heard he said I ended 7 wars. I was like, really? I'm pretty sure that's not accurate. And it doesn't seem like he's really remember day 1, I'm ending the Ukraine war. Okay, well, you definitely defaulted on that. We're 9 months in, but it doesn't look like he's his rhetoric is just kind of whatever he feels like or whatever he has to say to whatever group he's speaking to. I don't. Yeah. And did you guys see him at the funeral with for Charlie Kirk? Man, the way I'm telling you, there's a weird just kind of blankness to him. Like I really don't think he cares about much, like at all, including his family or his wife. You know, like I don't think he cares about anything. So like that's the perfect guy to like do whatever. And this is, again, just a couple months ago, is, oh yeah, we're going to buy the Gaza Strip. It's going to be ours. We're going to turn this into fucking Atlantic City Part 2. He doesn't care. Oh, the death. And I just want the death to stop. He'll say that. Yeah. But he doesn't care. Yeah. That takes a special kind of a-hole.
Yeah. Did you guys see his post about Ukraine today, by the way?
What was it? I think it was like kind of antagonistic on Russia, wasn't it?
He said, let's see, after seeing the economic trouble it is causing Russia, I think Ukraine, with the support of the European Union, is in a position to fight and win all of Ukraine back in its original form. With time, patience, and the financial support of Europe, in particular NATO, the original borders from where this war started is very much an option. And it's a very long post, but he's now talking about,
bro.
He's taken the absolute maximalist position, like maybe going further than Biden's position on Ukraine now. And I mean, he's talking about Europe, the financial support of Europe. And so I don't want to jump the gun on this whole thing, but I sort of feel like we're going to be paying a little bit more money towards this thing coming up in the future.
I love it. He signs this tweet on whatever platform. He signs it, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America, in all caps. It's so great. Yeah. He did not thank us for our attention to this matter, though.
No.
That was
but yeah, that's the thing. Like I sometimes I think there is something there. Like, I mean, I know I've heard people who do have good things to say about how he is in private and stuff like that, but he is just kind of so inconsistent, and he says things on purpose as negotiating tactics or trolling and stuff like that. And so it's very hard to like tell what the there is, you know? And I've often said like, hey, if he had 10% the character that Ron Paul had and like 10% of the attention span that Ron Paul had, just like how great could things be? But, you know, some things he you know, the stuff on, you know, Gaza, and just like, oh yeah, we're just going to move them to Syria or Rwanda and maybe bring them back after we put up, you know, casinos and whatever. It's right. It's just like
and we're going back to Afghanistan. Did you hear that, boys?
Oh yeah,
Afghanistan. Go back, baby. We want the Bagram Air Force Base back. It's mine. We built that. MAGA.
Yeah. Oh, that's the thing. That's the thing. He's pushing for it right now. I forgot to pull that one up, but yeah, I totally forgot.
How about the Department of War pumping out the video of the Lord's Prayer while they're bombing shit? Oh, yeah. Fucking America! You know, while he's reading this, dude, they're going for it, bros. They're gonna co-opt your beautiful religion and turn it into something a little darker.
I do like the Department of War, though. I'm glad that we've ended the whole Orwellian term, Department of Defense. Like,
I actually appreciate the honesty too, a little bit, but it is like you are telling the Trump phenomena lets America wear its imperialism on its sleeve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
making America great does not mean making it more conservative, making it more Christian. It does not mean that. It means making it bigger and greatest and the biggest thing ever. That's what it means. That's an empire. He's good at it.
And what you said earlier, Dave, about the pendulum swinging, like obviously the past several years, and even really in my lifetime, you know, because I remember Reagan, you know, I mean, and I certainly, you know, remember like the Republicans doing their sort of quasi-libertarian thing in '94 and making a lot of promises and following through on a few of them for a short time. And ever since then, the pendulum is like swinging more and more. And it does, like you look at history, both in this country and everywhere else, that you end up far left, you get a far right reaction, different things. Like I really think that certainly, like I said, in my lifetime, the left has been like, the left does, you know, they wanted me dead or in jail because I didn't take the jab and I don't do this. And, you know, Christians have a special place in their, you know, in their hearts and things like that. And so the amount of people on the left who actually do think of me and a lot of Americans, half of Americans, as like, just almost subhuman and not fully progressive and all that. The amount of violence, I think it's much more potentially coming from the left. But if we keep like this, a lot of the stuff that the Trump administration is doing a few steps down the road, that could provoke, I think it could awaken a lot of things that could swing things back the other way. And who's holding power at a particular time has a lot to do with this. And so that's why even still the Charlie Kirk thing, like my first instinct is always like, hey, is the real story on that? Because it seems like tailor-made for like the action is always in the reaction, and it served a purpose of doing a lot of things on the right. And I think it could give the FBI an excuse. Like, well, we saw what Pam Bondi was saying, hate speech and all this stuff, and who knows what form it's going to take. But I think that unfortunately, a lot of people on the right will excuse things that the administration might want to do in the name of, hey, look at these people who killed Charlie Kirk,
Yeah, dude, they're going for it. Now, you and I both hate actual, people who go out and commit crimes, property damage, anybody. Mm-hmm. We know what they look like, and, they usually typically running in left crowds, admittedly. But they just labeled Antifa, which I'm sure there's like little organic meetings of dorks all over the place that would maybe like identify that way. But they're now the T word, mm-hmm. which we're libertarians, man. So we spend a lot of time talking about natural rights and those mm-hmm. things. And this is a legal way for them mm-hmm. to just forego all of that for just this amorphous blob of people that they determine are anti-government extremists, right? Yep. You don't get rights, you get black bagged, you get thrown in a fucking black site.
Yep.
Period. And you got all these, look, I'm not on the left. I'm not out there calling for, I was probably 15 years ago, and we still should abolish DHS, but ICE right now, again, this is how fucking just shifts the Overton window. That's not my number one enemy right now, ICE. Yeah. I can't believe it, but it's just not. Yep. But that doesn't mean that they couldn't, like, they're hiring anybody. Yeah. Anybody. And, again, stuff, it's shifting over. Gavin Newsom's passing laws that make it illegal for ICE to cover their face. That's mm-hmm. going to be very popular. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, just across America, people are going to feel better about that. Oh, if you're going to do it, you don't need to cover your face while you're kicking people's doors in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, you did mention, I just want to say real quick, the fact that both sides, I hate to even like look at America that way, but the left and the right in many corners, or like the fringes at least, look at the other side as potential terrorists. Like, they'll call you Nazis, they'll call you white supremacists, all these things that are, quote, from their side, what we just mm-hmm. saw with Kirk, like, those words that you say are violence. This is the end result of this shit. Mm-hmm. Right? So they are if you are a Nazi, you are deserving of that punishment.
Yeah.
And so, dude, the people on the right, you're a terrorist scumbag. Well, you just should get whatever. You don't deserve rights or whatever. Like, we're there in America. That's fucking crazy.
I'll say, as much as when I saw that they was going to designate Antifa as a terrorist organization, I was like, well, yeah, kind of are terrorists, I guess. But at the same time, like, that's how I feel about them personally and all that. But then mm-hmm. when it comes to the government designation, I know about all the other stuff that goes along with that. And then comes the next question is like, well, do I want Gavin Newsom or AOC to have that same power to talk mm-hmm. about the Mises Caucus or the Proud Boys or the whoever else it is and label them as domestic terrorists? And so the answer is always no. Like, if I don't want my enemy to have that power, then you can't let the government have that power. And that's the really big thing that I hope the right can shift some focus back towards, is we will have another Democrat president someday. It's not always going to be a Republican. And if they don't actually do things to reduce the size and the power of the federal government, all of these things will be used against all of us in the future. It's great, an executive order here or there. It's like you said earlier, like they'll just delete that stuff and they'll go back to whatever else it was doing. They gotta delete the agencies, the funding, the NGOs, all the stuff. We don't just need to make sure we have better funding for the right NGOs or whatever, for the right people running the agencies. They have to go, or nothing's going to change. It's only going to keep getting worse. And I understand the reaction right now by a lot of people on the right, but we got to look further into the future. This power has got to go. I don't see it going that way, but like that's the reason the guy who's on the other side of the aisle is like a terrorist to you or an enemy is because the government is a giant gun, and you're worried about what the other person is going to do with it. And the more powerful that gets, it's not a gun anymore, it's a nuke. And so now the more powerful that gets, you know, of course it's super dangerous if that person gets the power. So that's the problem. I don't know how we can push them in the right direction. I didn't have a question. That's at the end of that. That was just me talking. Yeah, sorry.
No, that's good though. But I think that really sums up kind of where we're at and where we always have been as libertarians. And like, you know, I went through the same phase too of like trolling on certain issues on social media and thinking, you know, it took me a long time to realize what's blindingly obvious that I've realized, you know, certainly over the last 10 years is like, you can't really win arguments with people, and certainly not with strangers, you know, that people come to oftentimes people's ideological reasoning comes in afterward to kind of justify whatever inclinations they already have that come from their, you know, whatever their spiritual or cultural or familial worldview or whatever. And so and when people do change their minds, it's because of something that's goes on internally. Like I used to be like when I was like I read Murray Rothbard when I was like 18 and, you know, switched from being like a Reaganite conservative to like a libertarian, but only on like domestic policy. I was still kind of like a Cold War foreign policy guy, and I didn't really get it. And I also didn't really understand like the central banking stuff. And it was basically me arguing with myself about things that made me change my stance on, you know, things like war and you know, so I'm totally different on a lot of things than I was when I was 18 or even when I was 32, but it's because of what you know, it really hasn't been other people like sitting me down like, hey, you know, you're really wrong about this. And so that's why I think that, you know, trying to encourage people who already kind of feel the same way we do and to kind of wake up the people on the fringes who are libertarian adjacent, you know, that's to me, that's the only way.
That's your best bet. And that is the job of the remnant.
Yeah.
Like we might just be 1% of the vote for the next 100 years. If we're lucky enough to vote, you know, like that just might be the reality. I don't know if you caught it, but a couple weeks ago, there was a great IQ test floating around when people got to compare Thomas Massey to Donald Trump and what they were both advocating for. You know, one was advocating for a whole lot less spending, releasing those Epstein files. You know, you can see how he lives, which, by the way, Smotz just put out a great little 12-minute piece on Thomas Massey that you should check out.
Yeah.
Dude, he's the man. And obviously, I think he did a great job of showing who the character that he possesses. And people could see that. I'm not saying with just that video. I'm saying Massey was making national headlines, kind of button heads with Trump, and people, you know, have the opportunity to see, and they just, the numbers aren't there. Pussy. He's not real American. Like, it's just, they're so, This is one of my favorite movies ever, and I'll quote it forever. Spaceballs, dude. Evil will always triumph because good is dumb.
Yeah.
Like it's just so sad that you could have had Ron Paul, you could have had Pat Buchanan, but people are stupid, and they're just. It's the fact, dude. People want what's easy. They want promises. They want Netflix and just comfort. Nobody wants any kind of struggle or to put in any kind of effort to preserve what has been provided for them by their ancestors. And I have the same kind of disdain that Tom Woods does for ingrates. Like anytime somebody calls for socialism in America, you moved here from someplace else and you want to make this place so I've instantly dropped my ANCAP flag and I'm instantly fucking nationalist Hulk Hogan flag waving. You want to move here and change this to some fucking communist shithole? Get the fuck out of here. Yeah. But that's, property rights. Hashtag property rights. I don't know.
Is that the right URL at the bottom there, Dave, for the movie?
That is. Yes, absolutely. Go check that out. I think Smotz made some cool t-shirts that you can get and support him and his work. And we're pretty proud of that and proud of Smotz and Massey.
If you're not watching or can't see the screen right now, it's just masseyaf.com. And right. It stands for many things, but in this context, Massey's America First. So yeah, it's good. And again, history is repeating itself, right? We have like one good congressman who's like,
that's your percentage. That's what you get. You get one guy, you get to feel represented, but that's about it.
It's not even 1%. It's 1 out of 435, right? Whatever that percent is, a 1/4%.
Not good. You got Rand in there. We'll count. What kind of
Rand's been all right. He's been pretty good. He's not as exciting as Massey, but he's still pretty.
What's
good.
Rand Paul even doing on the stage? Look at this. He's not even polling at 1%, and that got the crowd. That's when you knew it's over. The smartest guy in the room is getting made fun of because he's a nerd. Here we go.
Yeah,
he's still going after Fauci though. He's pulling some good stuff.
He is. And I want to see some results. That would be great.
That's what we had lined up for my other show. The day that Charlie Kirk got shot was Paul had just announced something big with Fauci. That I don't remember what it is now. We've been I've done 9 shows now talking about Charlie Kirk getting shot. So I don't remember what it was, but he's still doing his thing on that. And of course, those are the people that seem to get the most hate from the right, which is really disappointing because they're the guys that are actually doing the things that you hear during a presidential election campaign. They're doing the things that I ended up hearing on the campaign that led to me actually voting for Trump.
I did too for the first time.
Yeah, me too.
I still think it was the right decision, by the way.
Yeah, I can't take it back. I guess there's a few things that I didn't really see coming. I've never bought that hard into the political rhetoric before, and it's because I was so pumped about Elon Musk actually because I just wanted him to cut a bunch of government stuff, and now that I say that out loud, that's just ridiculous. That I thought that was going to happen.
But it felt fucking good for a couple weeks, didn't it, dude?
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. The first month or so was like some of the most hopeful times of my life since becoming a libertarian.
Elon's tweeting Ron Paul. I was only dropping "it's happening" gifts, dude. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 3 Elon responses during that time with various like libertarian type stuff. Like those are fun days, and here we are,
marching towards the total technocratic takeover.
Well, how do we get them to turn it around though? Because I think Trump is super responsive to like what people want. But don't you guys see that? Like he does want to be popular. Yep. I believe that. And so how does he get it? How does he get to the point where he thinks, making sure Ukraine can take back all their borders, or we really have to go get Bagram, or I think that we should murder some people that just left the coast of Venezuela in these boats, and thing after thing after thing. How do we get to that? Are those things, I guess, just more popular than what I thought they were? Because I thought I heard that we didn't want more wars, but And now it kind of seems like it's fine. I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of felt the same way. I was like, Trump would do whatever the wind blows, that's what he's going to do. But I think it's pretty clear that he is owned, or he's they at least got him by the balls, dude.
Like, he's heavily influenced, I would say.
I think that if I had to guess, I think he fears for his life and the life of his family if he were to do certain things. Elon said when he went on Rogan, and this was when, Doge was popping, he's like, oh yeah, we're doing some great stuff, but I think, there's a limit. If I go too far, they'll kill me. Like, dude, you're in the White House with the president and you're the richest man in the world. Who are you talking about?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying there's probably certain things that you just can't do. And we're like, the way that he looked at that reporter, like he was such an asshole when he asked about Epstein. Like, you're fucking still talking about this? Yeah, dude, everybody's still talking about this.
Epstein?
But right, come on, I can't believe you're talking about this jerk, right? I think he likes to be liked, but he's a WWE Hall of Famer, meaning like he'll play the heel too, and he doesn't give a fuck as long as like the money's coming in and he's doing his thing. Like I don't think he really cares about being the good guy. He played that role to get the thing that he wanted, and now if you don't like it, fuck you. I think that's probably where he's at. I'm going to do what I got to do to keep the brand going for 1,000 years. Trump everything, baby. For my kids, grandkids, great, that's what he's setting up, I think. And I think it has a lot to do with the Greater Israel Project and his daughter marrying Kushner, who's the godson of Netanyahu. I think that they're going to redo that whole thing like Atlantic City.
And I was actually kind of headed to that, wanted to bring that up. And one of the things that again, I hate to keep playing the, hey, I'm grandpa here who has like a longer memory, but like, again, I was a weird kid. So like in the mid 80s, I was watching ABC World News Tonight with Peter Jennings, like every single night.
The best, bro. The best guy to ever do it.
So that's one of the reasons I'm so good on Jeopardy and stuff like that, is because I was a weird kid who watched the news and read the newspaper and stuff like that. And so one of the sort of bedrocks of this, all the way up to the 70s and 80s and really through Trump almost, and it's still there, is the sort of the post World War II rules-based liberal order consensus with America, its academic financial interests, the military industrial complex. Like they were like, okay, we are in charge now. And the anti-communism thing was a very big pillar of that. And then it kind of got snuck in there, the whole neocon thing, which means something very specific, former leftists who are Zionist and who want America to be Israel's protector. I mean, you can get a little more technical and stuff like that, but that sort of on the left and right, that has been kind of like this, one of the sacred cows that has kind of always been, this is what we're doing. And I think it is kind of I always I might have said it on the show before, that I look at the U.S. and Israel's relationship as like imagine Trump, but if Melania had passed and Trump was married to like a 25-year-old supermodel, right? Like we all know what's going on here, and both parties are using each other. Like I think we use Israel for our geopolitical, it's our forward operating base and all that stuff. And it's a true symbiotic relationship. Neither one really cares about the other, but we're getting what we're getting. And that has always been, again, in my lifetime. And I was right there too, because I grew up very conservative Christian Pentecostal background, and I just never questioned sort of the surface thing of it. And then when I started reading about all of that, I'm like, holy crap, I'm completely wrong about the facts of all of this. And I switched. And so I've had a hope that with the baby boomers dying, with Gen X is what we are, but I have some hope still that not just on the Israel thing, but on the larger foreign policy thing, that to be conservative means we are Team America, kind of the Cold War afterward, we're America's policemen. I'm still hoping that some of that is going to, the appetite for that is getting less and less on the right. And if that is true, then I think that is a major cause for hope. Is there hope there, or what do you think?
Go ahead, Nate.
It's a good white pill. I like it. No, you go ahead, David. No, I like the idea.
You can tell by my background, bros. I'm black pilled as fuck. I don't know, man. I just don't, because I agree with you. Like, it is in our, first of all, you're an empath, Aaron. You have love in your heart. So you want to assume that everybody else does too, and like that will be just a logical conclusion, or that most people do. And I think that you might even be right. Like, most people, they're just want to go to work, come home, have a family, all the normal shit. But we are being prodded in such a way that isn't allowing that. It's just like a constant irritation. It's like, like just a constant poke, like that meme. But I think that we're getting to the point soon where, like, it won't matter kind of the appetite of the people. Much like Trump doesn't give a fuck what you think about the Epstein stuff now. Like, soon they won't have to care and use so much propaganda because you won't legally be allowed to talk about it. And I'm only just going by like the stuff that they're doing right now with free speech on campuses and all this, like no anti-Semitism when we're stomping it out. You just were talking about hate speech. Fucking Pam Bondi has the audacity 2 or 3 days after, like, that's how you can tell. We haven't gotten into that yet, but that's one. If we're doing a criminal investigation, for me, somebody who's been woke to this shit for a long fucking time, you're just gonna, that's where your head's at right now. Oh shit. You don't give a fuck what happened to him, or exactly what did, or you're trying to distract, but you're not actively pursuing that. You want to talk about hate speech?
Yep.
That's incredible. So, and specifically, dude, anti-Semitism, hate speech. He's not talking about people running down in Chicago using the N-word, Jussie Smollett style. They're talking about that. And there's a rise in quote unquote anti-Semitism over the past 2 years. Could that possibly be a direct, as Ron Paul and the CIA would call, blowback? Could it possibly be from their actions, if you want to call it that? I don't care what you call it. Like, I know that. Don't have to preface this here with you dudes, but this has nothing to do with religion at all. Like, but it's you should, I believe, like, the appropriate emotion to feel for the Likud party, for Benjamin Netanyahu, is nothing but hatred. He deserves that, because, and again, I'm been hanging out with more Christians lately. I'm not one. I've never identified as one, but I feel better being around them, being surrounded by so many fucking devils in this world. And I can feel it when I see them and the energy that they put off. You can feel it being around good people, the love that they give off. So what their declared mission is. They've told you repeatedly. He's been in power longer than any other, since the 90s, been coming here. And the mission has been the same, man. And we've just been fighting their wars. And when I say them, I mean Mossad, CIA. They are symbiotic. You couldn't separate them at this point if you wanted to. It cannot be done. They won't do it. Oh, we can't release it. National security. Yeah, we know. We know. Sorry for yelling.
No, it's okay. You're totally right. And so, like, even though most people, I think, are self-interested in the sense that they just want to hang out with their families and have a good life, the fact that for some people their self-interest is to control other people. And I'm not speaking about just Zionists. I'm talking about the type of people who like to be in governments all around the world and who like to have power. They show up, they get elected to things, and they go into professions like, policing and politics and banking. And we end up where people in the UK right now are being arrested for memes. It's because most people over there realize that's ridiculous, but the people in power, they're using that to control people, and it's too late. It's too late. And so it's the public choice thing. The people who want it the most and will fight for their little thing, they have a disproportionate amount of political and social power than everybody else who doesn't care about that as much. I don't know if I'm making any sense in a...
No, I think you know, dude. And that's why they're pushing their civil war, which won't be race-based as much as it will be culturally based. That's why they've been so successful at curating that. Because, I hate to sound like me, libertarian from 10 years ago, but, if we could just meet in the middle with logic and reason, then we can take off and, focus on the real enemy. But it's still true. It's still true.
Yep. Yeah. So what percent likelihood is it that AI and everything, we end up in pods like on the Matrix?
Right.
Kind of a sharp left turn here, but like
we're already there at that.
Yeah, you can feel it, right? I mean, I don't know the length of time, but you're already a cyborg. You already got one of these. You're attached to it. Tells it's only a matter of time, and it will all be done in the name of convenience and safety. And the people that get it first will just have, and they will volunteer. If COVID taught us anything, people will be the first to line up for the new shit. And then soon it'll be like, can you imagine not having an iPhone or email? Like, I'm sure there's people that don't, but like, that's just not, you can't participate in society without it. Yeah. So we'll get there, man.
I'm doing my best to kind of divorce myself from it as much as I can, but it is impossible to do it. One thing that I am pretty intent on doing, again, without going into too much detail, I'm a parent of 2 boys, and they are like, my goal is for them to be the weird kids who don't know what video games are and who don't have screens and stuff like
Shelter
that.
them. Yes.
No, it really is. It's like my thing on parenting is it's a greenhouse, right? People say, oh, you can't shelter your kids. It's like, eventually they're going to be out in the forest having to put roots down themselves and be their own tree. But until they're strong enough, they're staying in the greenhouse where they're protected and getting the right environment so they can grow strong enough to be on their own. And a big part of that is keeping them away from and my wife is nowhere near as strange as I am on all this stuff. She's a very normal person, but kind of in agreement on like my basic thing is like, if it was made, anything written or made after the year 2000, like as far as like media, like I'm automatically skeptical, and it's probably a no as to whether I'm going to expose them to it. So on Saturday mornings, I'm watching, like I found an internet trove of all the Looney Tunes cartoons ever and torrented them. So I watch Looney Tunes with my boys on Saturday mornings. They're not gonna whatever degenerate cartoons.
They're going to get beautiful symphonies mixed up with, smashing into mountain cliffs, and it'll be great.
And the other thing I do, sorry, I'm just so happy about being able to do this. So I've been watching, there's a YouTube channel where this guy does guitar play-alongs to like all the Beatles songs. And like, he'll do each guitar track, and like, sometimes there's one guitar, sometimes there's 6 going at a time. And it's a close up on the guitar, and he puts them all up on the screen. And one of my boys in particular is just entranced by this. So, getting them to being able to expose them to the Beatles and the Allman Brothers and all this stuff like that is really great. But
isn't that funny? I've noticed that too. As your life is probably the best it's ever been personally. Yeah. I gotta say, Davy Downer and everything, black pilled, but my life in real life is just the best.
Yeah.
It's just the best.
Yeah.
But that's the irony of like outside and in the Matrix, things are just seem like
you guys think is that a good case for all of us stepping away from some of this stuff a little bit? Like, what if the other people's lives are actually pretty good too?
Right.
And we're all just fighting about the lives of other people, but all of us are, we're pretty good.
You're certainly going to be focused on it a lot, and we all live in our heads. Yeah. So if I'll speak for myself here, but I had a like world saving complex for a lot of the time, from my youth into like maybe my like early 30s. And then it became more of like, okay, well, we can do the local stuff and other things. But like, I really thought, if you just propose a better option and, we can all meet in the middle and kumbaya, all that shit. But yeah, I think, if that wasn't completely dead, before Charlie Kirk, like that is over.
Yeah.
And that's okay, because a thing is not beautiful because it lasts.
Yeah.
You know, that's okay. And, you know, I just don't think that I'll be that kind of activist anymore.
And I think to have a route into, and again, that's one thing, not to bring things back to internal Libertarian Party politics and stuff, but one of the reasons the LP has been what it's been is because it's been, for most of the time that I've been around, in control of people who it's like their main hobby and where they get their identity from. Right. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot of people who, and I'm generalizing, and I'm sure any particular person can say, oh, I have this, but it does. I always got the sense that there was, I know that when I got into it back in 2010, my life was not in a good place at all. And I wasn't a very good person at all. And it took me working on myself to work through some stuff. And when I look back, now that I'm thinking of working this out in my head right now, but I think a lot of people are attracted to politics and to the more extreme sort of activism, whether left, right, libertarian, because there is like a void there, and it is meaningful to try to change the world for the better. But like, if that's all you got, then it's very easy to start spinning your wheels and start caring more about your position and your status in this very little pond than it is. And so I think the thing of it is I think everyone should put, your faith, your family, your vocation, like that's who you are. And because you are able to experience that, you want other people to experience that in a free society. That's why, again, full circle to the beginning, that's why I'm still doing this, is because I care about it. But if no matter what happens in the world and in this country, like I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine. Like, even if it gets really bad, hey, I'm still fine because of my faith and because, this is not my main goal. So,
right.
Speaking of, I had one comment I wanted to put up here. Libertarian Keith from hello from the newly formed LP of New Brunswick, which I'm told is in Canada. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what goes on above north of the border there. I'm kidding. My wife really wants to go to PEI, so maybe I'll make it up that way. But Keith, email me at aaron@misescaucus.com and we'll link up and get to know you and all that. But to be a libertarian in Canada takes a special person. So thanks for listening and all that.
Thanks for the time and the effort and being a libertarian in Canada and being a member of a party or starting a party or whatever, like that takes a lot of effort, and it's going to be a thankless thing to do for a long time. Yeah. So
so buckle up, dude.
Yeah,
by the way, just while we're on that, in case anybody took that as me talking shit on party politics or anything like that, I just want to say, first, I did all the shit. I ran for chair of my county and did that for 2 years. And the whole Mises Caucus takeover, I was in more than most people were in. And a lot of that had to do with Michael Heiss's. I was just inspired by him, as you were. Yep. But all kinds of great shit happened to me because I was participating in this stuff. Like I met all of the people, all the Dissident team, Amy, Dylan, Smotz, the podcast I'm doing right now, the full-time job I have with benefits right now, all came from hashtag taking human action. So I'm not saying don't get involved and do that shit. I'm saying you probably won't save the world with any political party. That's just not in. I think we're beyond that. But it is a beautiful message. People do need to hear it, and the Mises Caucus has proven to be very creative in the ways that it gets that message out. And I'm kind of hopeful that like I kind of lost a little bit of hope when Chase got in, and it was just like, oh, we didn't get our thing, we didn't carry the leadership or whatever. But I think like the win that we got is just like the kind of permanent culture inside. And like there will always be a revolving door of Mecox that will step up and that aren't 44 years old, and they will hear Rothbard for the first time or Ron Paul for the first time, or so that's kind of my hope. And but I do appreciate my time and God, the work that you guys do, and Heist, and it was beautiful.
And I meant to do this a lot sooner, but our last few minutes here, tell us about Dissident. Now, are you full-time for them? And
no, I'm
what is your full-time gig? Yeah.
So I am a full-time content creator for the most based Second Amendment civil rights organization in the world. I'm not going to name them because I don't want to
cross the streams.
Exactly. But I'm sure that you guys know them. They drop the illest memes on the internet.
It's not the NRA, is it?
It's not your pop-ops gun org, bro. Nope. So those guys are amazing, and I'm loving every one of my days, and I'm so grateful to do that work. And I partnered with Amy Lepore and Dylan Griffith, Dan Smotz, and Mike Heiss to form Dissident Media. So we produce some content for Buck Johnson, the Counterflow podcast, who's got a great fit with us, kind of like very similar vibes. Mm-hmm. And then we're trying to get more into like these maybe like shorts and documentaries, and we do some other work, like just for people that aren't on the label, I guess you might say, but need help with running podcasts and production and things like that. So I love those guys, and they're all brilliant. And again, it wouldn't have happened without participating in this.
Yeah. How can people, is it just dissidentmedia.com? I should have had this up already, but
we got the domain dissidentmedia.com and Dissident Media on Twitter. And
and then tell me about what you and Smotz do. Well, I know, but tell people.
Yeah, man.
Where else if you like hanging out with Dave with us tonight, you have other opportunities. So
that's right. That show is a lot of fun, and that's my dude. He's probably best friend I ever met on the internet. And he's been to my house a couple times. So we've broed down quite a bit over the past couple of years. So much so, man, that I had a little podcast I started during COVID, and I started guest hosting with Dan like pretty frequently. And I at some point I made the choice. I was like, you know what? I would rather be, I thought that this has more potential and is better, and the recipe is more fun. So I would rather, and got a little busier. So like, I guess being a co-host, I kind of get to like react to his craziness is fun for me. And I get to be the like curmudgeon. It's good. So
that's the system is down.
That is the system is down, dude. And he's done a lot of great work. He just made, I think Ron Paul's new intro for his podcast, and he's got some more stuff he's doing through Dissident. Just the best. He's a great dude, and I love him.
Yeah, I missed the Dave versus Goliath podcast too. That was those were some dark times, and
a thing is not beautiful because it lasts.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. But no, it was. Yeah, it goes back to that. That's one of the reasons why I was like, with all this going on, was kind of some of your takes and stuff during all that. Man, just that's one thing that I am just so thankful for is if we had tried to do this podcast on YouTube in 4 years ago in 2021, the ATF would have busted through my front door by now.
Listen,
and so,
good call, dude. Let's not end on a black bill. Tucker Carlson is getting ready to release a 5-episode Better Look at 9/11. Everybody.
Oh, wow.
Special.
Okay.
If I could go back and tell myself that piece of shit Bowtie Tucker Carlson from CNN Crossfire during promoting the Iraq War would in 2025 be doing this, I'll be like, oh, okay, shit must be going better than expected. Yeah. So, man, people are waking up, and we are the remnant. We'll keep it alive. We'll just, it'll never go out. Let's see how big we can get the embers,
Yeah, I just started listening to Scott Horton's 10-hour appearance on Lex Friedman too. So it's like at this point, it's just like comfort listening, because like I already know everything Scott's going to say, but to hear him say it again to somebody who may not know and believe all this stuff is pretty neat. I'm only
funny.
I'm only a half hour in.
Oh, it gets a comfort. I've never heard that, because I feel like, oh my God. I love it. I'm so grateful. He came to Delaware and spoke for like 2.5 hours. They were trying to serve dinner. He was like, no. I'm not done. But yeah, that's funny. Comfortable. Yeah, he's the best.
Yeah. Well, Dave, I really appreciate it. Hopefully at some point in the next few months, we'll cross paths in real life and all that. But yeah, keep up the good work. Keep us posted on what's going on with Dissident. And anytime you guys want to get the word out about something, let us know and we'll do it. So, yeah, I appreciate it, man. Congratulations on I know some personal stuff happening with you, which is great. So God bless.
Congratulations to you, brother. Yep. So happy for you and your family, man.
It's great. So, all right. Yeah. I wish we could just hang out and smoke cigars all night or something, but we got to say goodnight. So
let's do it again soon. Thanks, Nate. Good to talk with you, brother.
Yeah. You too.
Peace, guys.
Bye-bye.